On behalf of the Arts and Junior Cycle team, welcome to Experience, Plan and Participate, the 3 strands in artistic performance. This is a recorded screencast of a live Zoom workshop which took place on the 20th of October 2021 as part of JCT's online learning event. Let's remind ourselves of the short course and how it is structured. As we know, artistic performance is one of several NCCA developed junior cycle short courses. There are 3 strands as shown. The course is learning outcomes based, and there's 1 classroom based assessment based on the group performance, which is reported on the junior cycle profile of achievement. This workshop is the 3rd of our online supports for teachers engaging with the artistic performance short course. The first 2 took place during the 2020-21 school year. Number 1 was Exploring Possibilities, an introduction to the artistic performance short course, and goes for about 30 minutes. Number 2 there on the slide is Voice and Choice, the artistic performance short course, and that focused very much on approaches to activating student voice and choice in the course. Both were recorded and are available from www.artsandjuniorcycle.ie and also the short courses section of www.jct.ie. So these are the learning intentions for the workshop. Considering the artistic performance specification, we're going to experience and respond to an artistic performance ourselves. This, we hope, will inform us in developing creative ideas. The second learning intention is to develop an understanding of how we plan for artistic performance that integrates the 3 strands of the short course. Let's also remind ourselves of the 3 strands of artistic performance. So our title, Experience, Plan and Participate, links directly with the wording in each strand of the short course. Experiencing the arts, planning and preparing, and participation and performance. What's important for us to remember is that all 3 strands are interrelated. Learning outcomes from each strand are worked on throughout the short course, and learning experiences in each strand are not completed in isolation, but overlap and inform each other. At this point, I'd like to show you this quotation taken from the specification rationale, which really gets to the heart of what the short course in artistic performance is all about. Take a moment to read it here, as we will be unpacking it in the next 2 slides. In the context of the arts, and linking from the quote on the previous slide, what do we understand by the elements movement, sound, symbol and image, both individually and combined? We'll type the question into the chat and we'll return to the previous slide to remind you of the quotation. So if you could put your suggestions into the chat or unmute your mic with suggestions. And here is another question that also links from the quotation, this time focusing on expressive works. In the context of the arts, can you suggest examples of expressive works that capture movement, sound, symbol and image? And remember that these examples can be small scale. They don't have to be big school productions. They could be an exhibition based around a theme. They could be a musical concert, a puppet show. The possibilities are many. Let's remind ourselves of our first learning intention, to experience and respond to an artistic performance. For any artistic performance, whether it's a concert, play, art exhibition, dance performance or film, we experience and respond on a personal level. So before we watch the performance, I'm going to invite you to consider the 2 questions on the slide and ask that you have these in mind as you view. So consider, how do you feel and how do you interpret the performance's meaning? Now to the performance itself. We've kind permission from Irish National Opera to use one of the films in their 20 Shots of Opera series. The film performance is titled Her Name, and it's set in a boarding school in Dublin City where a young boy secretly mourns the loss of his mother. We'll put the link into the chat so you can view on your own device. The performance goes for about 5 minutes. We'll return after you view the clip, and we hope you enjoy watching. Having viewed the performance, let's take an opportunity now to discuss it with each other in a breakout room using the guiding questions. We'll spend about 7 minutes here. So returning to this specification at this point, what we see on the slide is a visual representation of the artistic performance process. There are 5 suggested stages for how the short course may take place. It looks linear, but it doesn't have to be. It may be that depending on how it suits your school context, you might decide to view artistic performances before choosing an artistic discipline, and then explore ideas and move towards creating an expressive work for an audience. So the performance that we viewed is our stimulus or starting point for the next activity. Let's think about learner voice. We're going to put ourselves in the role of learner in this activity. Considering the stimulus, which art forms might we like to explore? We can be as creative as we like. It's a stimulus, so we can go for what's of interest to us. The second question on the slide, how do we ensure everyone has a role? Remember that there's a wide range of roles available, not just performing, but backstage, design, publicity, etc. Play to our strengths and skills. We're going to take 15 minutes to do this activity, and groups will be invited to report back on decisions and choices made. And we'll ask each group to nominate a reporter who can feed back. Let's move on to our second learning intention, to develop understanding of integrated planning across the 3 strands. As we know, learning outcomes are statements that describe the knowledge, understanding, skills and values students should be able to show on completion of this short course. We also have an accompanying learning outcomes poster, which is available for you to view and download, and we hope will be a useful support to you in planning. We've put the link to the learning outcomes poster on the screen there that you can see, and we invite you to download and view it now. And take a few minutes to read it yourself. All 3 strands are there, as are 2 graphics showing how the learning outcomes are interrelated, and also the visual graphics showing the artistic performance process. Our final breakout room task is for you to read through the learning outcomes poster, and from our experiences in the workshop this evening, let's identify the learning outcomes from each of the 3 strands that have been addressed in the workshop. We will ask you to spend 6 minutes in the breakout room. Again, if you could nominate a reporter to feedback and input into the chat when we return. Finally, some questions for us to reflect on as we consider our next steps in engaging with artistic performance. How might we approach integrating the 3 strands in our planning from now on? How do we enable our students to observe high quality arts experiences by others? And where do we go to access the arts? It will be interesting for us to share ideas on how we do enable students to observe artistic presentations and performances by others. Where do we go? What's in our local area? What's online, etc. And then thinking about our school context and what our students are actually interested in. So if we could input to the chat or unmute and comment to the whole group, it will be an opportunity for us to share some ideas. We now have an opportunity for questions and answers. If there are any questions that we're not sure of at this point, we invite you to email us and we will get back to you. Please sign up to our Arts in Junior Cycle mailing list. There's also a JCT podcast channel, Junior Cycle Talks, that you may wish to subscribe to. And Arts in Junior Cycle have released several podcasts, which are conversations with artists about their work. And you can see one there on the slide. We have many, many more. We also have a number of Arts in Action short films with accompanying teacher guides, and they're all available on our website, www.artsinjuniorcycle.ie. Before we end this evening's workshop, a reminder that the specification and assessment guidelines for artistic performance are available at jct.ie or at curriculumonline.ie. If you have any further questions or queries, please email info@jct.ie. You may wish to follow Arts in Junior Cycle on Twitter at JuniorCycleArts, and the website addresses are shown on the slide: www.artsinjuniorcycle.ie or the main JCT website www.jct.ie. Thank you for your engagement and to all who participated in tonight's Zoom workshop.